Before we get started, I want to introduce the reason why. Hey, Spotum TV. I want to introduce the reason why we're watching this video again. Now, we noticed during the watching of this same video last week that a fraudulent activity was committed. We noticed that CBS News included footage from Ocean Gate's website of the Titanic, the actual Titanic, and they included it in their footage as though the Titan was able to see the Titanic clear as day. And the reason why we learned that footage was false was because we saw that Fox News also used that same footage and credited Ocean Gate with the production of that footage, not CBS News, which means that footage that we saw came from Ocean Gate's website, not CBS News. I'll point out where it is because we're going to watch it again. I just wanted to watch this again because it's very important for us to see how CBS News presented Ocean Gate, Stockton Rush, and the Titanic. And the Titan, this entire expedition shenanigan bullshit, as I'm just called the knitted Twinkie. I called it a sex toy. Listen, because it looked like a little bullet to me. But we want to take a look at how they presented this in their first cover of it, because they came back out earlier this week to try to cover their ass. Because we talked about whether or not they should get sued. So I want us to take a look at what they released in their cover up, their retraction of sorts. I hope the fucking what's they call Martin Luther King, what they call the Nobel, not Nobel. What's the ones that give the awards for the news? I got to go back and look at them now. It's been a long time since I've said it, but there's an organization that actually awards news and keeps people in order, pretty much. And I hope they're watching, because they don't actually, CBS News never actually issues a retraction. They just give another story that says a little bit more than it said before and doesn't happen to include that same footage. Y'all, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to watch, I know, right? Propaganda on the news. Oh, Lord, who'd have thunk it? First thing we're going to do is we're going to watch the video that we watched last week. I'm not going to stop it as much. I really just want us to watch how they presented this to us and take it for face value. And then we're going to go back and watch what they actually released earlier this week to try to cover their ass. And if my husband was on that shit, if my son was on that shit, I'd be suing CBS News, even though they're released according to the liability waiver. Hey, one true Empress, Pulitzer, thank you very much. That's exactly who it is, Pulitzer, the Pulitzer organization. They're the ones that keep the news organizations in check. They're the ones that give out the big prizes that everybody holds up. You know, they're bigger than the Emmys when it comes to the news. So it's I think they have something to do with literature as well. But I'm wondering if they're watching. Because there are some atrocities that take place that led to tragedy and death because of the egregious omittance of information from a news organization. And I know that CBS Sunday Morning is supposed to be like lighthearted. So don't put this shit on the news if you can't keep it lighthearted, is all I'm saying. Don't put it out here if you can't do it like it's supposed to be done. Don't get into this business if you don't want to be in the business. CBS News. So anyway, let me give it to you. And shout outs to her outfit once again, because she's still doing it.
To view firsthand the eerie remains of the Titanic.
Give me some feedback. Let me know you
It
can hear
promised
this
to
and
be
see this
quite
okay.
a journey, quite a story besides.
Maybe you've heard the story of the Titanic.
Iceberg, right ahead!
I think there was a movie about it.
Come on, get in!
For the most part, the only people who've ever seen the Titanic since that night have been scientists. Until now.
It's a very unusual business. It's its own category. It's a new type of
He said it was a business, right?
Stockton Rush is
Okay.
the CEO of Ocean Gate.
He's a
company
CEO,
that
right?
offers
Not
dives to
director.
the Titanic in a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber submersible for $250,000 per person. Who are the typical clientele for these missions?
We have clients that are Titanic enthusiasts, which we refer to as Titaniacs, We've had people who have mortgaged their home to come and do the trip, and we have people
Mortgage
who
their
don't think
home.
twice about a trip of this cost. We had one gentleman who had won the lottery.
And this summer, Rush
Stupid
invited
gentleman.
us to come along.
Thank you for
We
the feedback,
departed from
guys.
St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, the easternmost tip of North.
Now he said Rush invited them to come along. Excuse me. And when you think about that, I want you to think about that liability waiver that he'll read a piece of in a little bit. If you were invited to come along on this expedition after reading this liability waiver, would you? All right. That's all I want to know.
America, about 400 miles from the Titanic,
That's the last we'll be seeing of land for 8 days.
aboard
8
a chartered
days.
oil rig servicing ship. During our 2-day journey into the North Atlantic, we got to know our fellow adventurers. They included everyone from Indian industry mogul Shrenik Baldota.
Yeah, they call me a wild monk.
This
The
corny
wild
nigga.
monk?
Yeah, because I look like a monk.
Because they look like a monk. Would you like
I
a
have these
Slurpee?
extreme
This ignorant motherfucker.
interests.
To bank executive Renata Rojas.
I'm trying to fulfill a dream. I've been wanting to go to Titanic and see it with my own eyes.
Her
This
dumb
is
ass.
before they found it.
She's been saving up to see the Titanic for 30 years.
Dreams don't have a price. Some people want a Ferrari. Some people buy a house. I wanted to go to Titanic.
But the star of the show is the Titan.
Ferrari won't let everybody buy a Ferrari. You have to meet a certain standard of lifestyle and living and social elegance to be allowed to purchase a brand new Ferrari from Ferrari. Please let's not compare Ferrari to this bullshit. This thirsty, needy, hungry for clientele bullshit. Ferrari is a much different organization than Ocean Gate. Let's not get
Stockton
it twisted.
Rush's custom-built submersible.
I hope you heard that, Ferrari.
5-inch thick carbon fiber, capped on each end by a dome of titanium. If all went well, I myself would be spending about 12 hours sealed inside on a dive to the Titanic.
12
Not gonna lie,
hours.
I was a little nervous. An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
Okay, I feel like drinking. Is all I want to know. Now, this, do you think he signed it? Do you guys think he actually signed this liability waiver? Because I don't think we actually see him sign the liability waiver that we saw. He read it. Oh, Blue Butterfly, the reason why she's scrubbing the window is because the passengers provide the money. Now, here's the thing Stockton Rush had these niggas thinking. If you know about the House of Prayer, then you know about this model of slavery. Excuse me. Stockton Rush and his homeboy, his business partner, whose name I can't remember, they had convinced these people who were paying 250,000 pounds to go on this experimental vessel that was being monitored by an oil rig maintenance ship, not a hospital ship, an oil rig maintenance ship, not certified. Okay. They were being told that you are part of this expedition. Now, did you notice that in the liability waiver, they were continually called volunteers and crew? I did too. Well, I looked into it. Ooh, y'all know I'm about to be high. So because they were called crew and volunteers, although they were paying to be there, oh, he gave them jobs to do. Oh, yes, he did. He gave them jobs to do to get the submersible vessel ready. Oh, you saw her. Excuse me. I'm going to try not to die on this camera. Listen, you saw her scrubbing the windows. And see, me and Miss Snotters were curious about that because she mentioned it last week during the show. We thought it was just funny. Excuse me. Come to find out, he had these people doing the job of a crew so that they would think he gave them something to do. These people literally thought, excuse me, they were preparing a vessel to do an expedition. He had them working. They were paying 250. It might be on one of those videos in the breakdown playlist. I believe that it is. And if it is, I'll find it and point it out where we got this information from, because that's the truth. He had these people thinking they were part of the crew. So these people that died, these 4 people that died, were responsible for the maintenance. Now, these people were not, only one of them was an expert explorer. He hadn't built a submarine. The other guy was a British investor. There was a 19-year-old boy, and then another businessman. I mean, if you rich, like I want to be rich, I ain't used to maintenance work. My hands don't get dirty. I don't put my knuckles or my elbow grease into nothing. So I'm not going to clean that ship like somebody who would. This is a fun experience for me. Yeah. He had them paying to work. Shout outs to whoever asked the question about the window. I meant to tell y'all that. Thank you. Miss Nodders is my witness. If you saw that same piece, Miss Nodders, please put it in the comments that you did. If you didn't, then my bad for putting you in it. I thought that we watched that together. If I remember correctly, we saw that together. That man had those people working. The ones he was about to kill. That's some evil shit. That's some evil shit. That's some dirty shit.
Oh, take your shoes off. That's customary.
Okay. Wow. Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button. That's it. It should be like an elevator. It shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea. It's also the only one with a toilet.
Rosetta, that's facts.
And yet, I couldn't help noticing how many
Y'all saw the
pieces of
toilet?
sub seemed
Homemade,
improvised.
nigga
You
rigged.
can use these off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! It seems like this submersible has some elements
Y'all.
of MacGyver-y jerry-riggedness. I mean, you're putting
Now,
construction
here's the
types of
question
that
that I have,
don't know
because
how
the
to-
reason why we're watching this video again is to point out how CBS News glossed over the danger that was right before their eyes. And it'll become more evident when we watch the second video, where you see the video they left out, the footage they left out. Why is this man, David Olosi, his name is David Pogue. Okay, Ogun? David Pogue. Yes, David Pogue laughed. It's a Sony PlayStation. And then he was so ginger about the words he used. It seems, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to upset you. I don't want to ruffle your feathers, because the check didn't clear that you paid us for coming here doing this story. It seems a little nigger rigged. He's so gentle, so kind, so polite about telling this man that he's building a murder weapon. And he laughed about it. Come on, man. He's scared. He's scared to tell this man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Have you lost your motherfucking mind? Because his friends told him in writing. Several of them. Several people sent him emails about, the inconsistencies with this technology, and, how many times it had actually gone down, and how many times it was designed to actually have gone down. Someone else mentioned that too. I believe it was MN Snope M. How many, this wasn't designed. There are submarines and submersibles that are literally only designed to go once. That's why we see them in museums. That's in the breakdown playlist. One of those videos breaks that down and explains that. There and that's the one I want to kind of watch tonight because there's a lot in it. Um um and it includes a black scientist, which is awesome to see and rare. So I definitely want to take a look at that together if y'all got a little extra time, energy, or whatever. But yeah, this thing, there were several people who emails are coming out now day by day of people who said, we told him he was stupid. He stopped being my friend. He stopped coming over to snort cocaine with me and look at chicks, on the internet. Like he fired me. He found a reason to fire me and then he sued me because I said it wasn't safe. But this dude who has the ears of the entire planet at his feet says, come on, man. It seems like it's a little nigga rigged. I mean, I don't want to call you a bitch ass nigga, but this is some bitch ass nigga ish kind of shit to put somebody in, don't you think? And we established last week that nothing's on television for free. Nobody's going to do a new story on you for the free like that. Everybody get paid.
Use that description of it, but there's certain things that you want to
He
be,
wouldn't call it nigga
buttoned in.
rigged.
So the pressure vessel is not MacGyvered at all because that's where we work with Boeing and NASA and the University of Washington. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
But when expedition manager Kyle Bingham
But if your thrusters go, can't your submersible vessel just float into that zone where it implodes because there are no thrusters to thrust it? Nobody points this out. There are no. Come on now. We've talked about street stars, real life street stars, and how they let Jacqueline Wright and Angela Owosu just say what the fuck they want to say on a platform. Never check them, never fact check them, never follow up question them, nothing. This is that same shit. What are follow up questions like? Where's the backup? Whenever you go to investigate a story, you always do your own investigation. Like Tariq Nasheed said it, you never do a documentary and don't already know what they're going to say. But David Pogue, Ogun, his name is David Pogue. Yes, tell Olokun when he goes to look for who to get, it's David Pogue because he's the one that allowed this lie to be spread. Yes, I got you. Yeah. When David Pogue, there should have been someone to say, wait a minute, you said it's okay for the thrusters to go, but how could that be if the thrusters are what allows this thing to literally propel? Literally propel. There is no propulsion, right? What do you call it? It's not going to go anywhere without thrusters. And I think those are the things. Remember I said earlier, sorry about the camera, y'all. My desk got excited. Remember I said earlier there was something that they had installed backwards so they weren't able to go, and I said it started with a T. It was the thrusters. There's video in the breakdown playlist of this man getting stuck in the ocean, stalled in the ocean, not going nowhere because the thrusters were installed backwards. And this man just said your thrusters could fail and you'll be fine. That's an emergency. Your submersible vessel could literally float down into the area where it could get pimp slapped by pressure. But this journalist never follows up, never goes back and says, wait a minute, that don't sound right. Never contacts the correct authorities to say, hey, maybe you want to take a look at this thing happening.
studied the forecast for our Titanic dive, he concluded that
Culpable.
the waves would be too big to launch the sub.
We're looking at 6 feet, and then it bumps up a little bit.
Our Titanic adventure would have to wait. But Stockton Rush offered our CBS crew a consolation dive to the continental shelf 80 miles away. Apparently, there's a lot of sheer cliffs underwater to see, shark breeding ground. They say it's really cool. The crew closes the hatch from the outside with 17 bolts. There's no other way out.
The unfortunate thing is this. You remember when we talked about Jackie O? I believe it was Nigel that spotted that she was trying to become a promotion queen. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because when I went to school to study broadcast production at Jackson State, my marketing education was completely separate. I have a minor in marketing. My major was mass communications. They were two separate educations, two separate buildings, two separate schools. One was a school of business, the other one was a school of mass communications. But here we got a journalist who's being a marketer for a company. He's using his platform. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me get this camera right. He's using his platform to market this business, this situation, instead of just telling the truth. He's putting icing on the cake, like, oh, we couldn't go to the Titanic, but we could go to, this cliff somewhere. If I look crooked, y'all, it's because I am. My camera's crooked. Let me get it straight. Y'all so patient and graceful. Thank you. Let's see. All right. Thank you. I'm basically naked from the belly button down, so I'm trying to keep my camera under control today. um Let me get in here. I just wanted to note that it just seems like he's so focused on marketing. He's hyping up this thing instead of just telling the story.
Here's how the launch is supposed to go. The sub is attached to a huge floating platform. Motorboats drag it down the big orange ramp into the sea.
We're in the water. We're floating.
Woo!
They are going to come and prepare the platform for the next phase, which is the sinking.
The platform submerges to around 30 feet, where the water is much calmer than on the surface.
You're in the water, people.
Divers detach the sub from the platform, and away you go, in theory.
Hull integrity, holding.
And what happened next?
Let me pause for a second because I want to focus on this comment from M.N. Snope. There have been several successful trips to the Titanic, but they were all done by scientists and skilled divers. There's not been one field trip to the Titanic that's been successful. And Stockton Rush is further proof. There's not been one field trip, one excursion, or fake expedition to the Titanic that's been successful, because this thing is a serious feat. You're talking about 13,000 feet under the sea, where the pressure is so high, animals barely live. This isn't like people just go there. That's why he could charge 250,000, because it really was that rare. You'll hear in a minute this man says nobody does this. But for the first time ever, somebody found a way. This man, Stockton Rush, said one day he gets tired of people telling him, one day you're going to kill somebody.
You won't be disappointed, as we'll show you a little later on Sunday morning. Our dive in the Ocean Gate submersible had made it down only 37 feet when this happened.
So apparently those floats there
37
came
feet.
off the platform, and that wasn't supposed to happen. So
He told the
so
truth
we're
about that
scrubbing.
part.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus up here.
Copy that.
I was crushed. My diving
Crushed.
adventures were over.
He
Every
paid for nothing.
expedition has its challenges, all of them. I have not been in one expedition where things have to be adjusted, adapted.
Yeah, while she say stupid shit, I'm gonna turn it down. Mr. Beast, who I still don't know who the fuck that is, but my daughter does, was supposedly invited to go on this, but he did some research and backed out. He was actually invited to go on that particular scheduled field trip, but he turned it down. And it became very obvious in my research that Stockton Rush was really, really big on getting a celebrity presence. I called this the Fire Festival submarine, because he really was big on having a professional, I mean a celebrity presence, and that's why this news station was invited. But remember, Stockton didn't have a problem giving anybody $100,000 discount. He didn't have a problem doing that. And let me pause this, because here, this pissed me off. Now, if you remember, if you were here last week when we saw this screen, I said, what is on that screen? And I stopped it. Now, supposedly, this is video. This is supposedly video of on that vessel, that the oil rig maintenance vessel that is supposed to keep them busy because they weren't actually able to do the expedition they were supposed to do. They're supposed to be able to have seminars with scientists. Now, I'm going to let you listen to this man say it so you don't think I'm lying.
And that, my friends, is called a fog bow. You can also hang out with scientists.
Okay, so you hanging out with a scientist, but what is on the screen? Why are they talking about ambiguity? That's not a science conversation. That's an English conversation. I'm an English teacher. I got a TEFL TESOL. I can teach English as a second language and a first language. Huh. I'm sorry, foreign language. I got my F's mixed up. And it's another English teacher in here too. Miss Nada's teach English too. She know what it is. This isn't science. Why would you be talking to somebody on a vessel, on a ship, about ambiguity? This doesn't even make sense. It seems as though this video just came from somewhere, nowhere, and they just threw it in here because it doesn't make any sense. Now, this is a 6-month-old story. You can't be making these kind of mistakes, CBS News. What the fuck? Nothing about this has anything to do with science or what they're getting ready to do, or the Titanic, or Ocean Gate, or submersible vessels, or ocean diving, or animals of the sea, or the Mariana Trench, or anything. Why is this on the screen? Now, if I remember correctly,
hang out with scientists.
He said hang out with scientists. What? Puppet Master said they did. They did hang out with a scientist. I'm just like, I just had to, stop. To take a moment and just point out the bullshit. Hey, Seven Blunts. To take a moment to point out I don't know nothing, Mr. B. I ain't never seen him. I know what he looked like. His face is on candy at the 7-Eleven. But as long as he ain't inappropriate or doing nothing crazy, y'all let me know now. I'll go find him. Put Yemi on his ass and then shoot. Hey, so anyway, I'm trying to figure out what is the relevance of this footage. What is the relevance of this footage?
You can also hang out with scientists. Researchers like deep-sea biologist Steve Ross and ocean archaeologist Rob Mather join every expedition.
Hey, Jennifer.
In effect, the passengers are funding their science.
The passengers are funding their science. That's why they washing the windows. What's good, Seven Blunts? It is all good. It is all good. Listen, the passengers are funding the research. That's why they're washing the windows and ballasting the hoist, or whatever you do when you get shit ready for the water. He said, this is my first time reading this, Seven Blunts. She said they needed to be brainwashed enough to agree to get inside that death tube. So let's talk about ambiguity for an hour until you fall asleep. Yeah, Jennifer Torrey said, hey, breakdown crew.
Edition. I don't do show science. So Our job is to do real and important and valid work.
While you're down there.
Now, what you didn't hear was the rest of what this man said. He said, I don't do show science. Our job is to do real, valid, and something else work. He might have said after that, and this nigga is on some bullshit. But we don't know that because it got cut out.
Will you look for this giant heart-shaped diamond on a...
And he doesn't even ask this other scientist a valid question. That was the moment when he could have said, is this thing safe? Would 9 out of 10 dentists recommend that anyone get on this little toothpaste-shaped submarine? Is it certified? Has it undergone rigorous testing and third party, all that other shit people do when they put something out to the market? What do you think about Stockton Rush? Scientists. Because I'm just going to think about this for a second. This man sounded very serious when he said what he said about not doing show science. And I want to go back to it because I don't think that that's all he said. I don't know yet. Excuse me, but I done copy pasted and cut enough in my day to know. He may have said something a little different. Let's see.
Valid work.
While you're down there, will you...
Real and important. I don't do show science.
Let me see what the question was.
In effect, the passengers are funding their science.
Yes, they is.
How scientific is this expedition?
I don't do show science. So our job...
The question was, how scientific is this expedition? That was a good question. But the answer was pretty ambiguous. Wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you agree? That answer was either not the answer to that question, or it came after or before some other shit that was not included here.
So our job is to do
are funding their science.
Thanks for taking this slow walk with me, y'all.
How scientific is this expedition?
I don't do show science. So our job is to do real and important and valid work.
You could tell by his hairline he is serious about what he does. Because it's gone. And he's still doing his
While
work.
you're down there, will you look for this giant heart-shaped diamond on a chain?
I think that's not there.
I want to know why they cut off the last part of what he said.
Valid work.
While you're down there...
Y'all saw his mouth continue to move, right? He said more.
And valid work.
While you're down there...
And they cut him off. So how scientific is this? What was the answer? What was the answer? How scientific is this? I don't do show science, and our job is to do real, valid, and something other. I can't remember the last word he said. Something and valid work. How scientific is this? That wasn't James Cameron. Girl, that's my male crush Monday, James Cameron. I think he is so handsome. Him and the president of India. Ooh, I'm about to tell my business.
Will you look for this giant heart-shaped diamond on a chain?
I think that's not there.
He asked a scientist that question. I would have been insulted. I think that's not that. Something bothered me about that last week, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And that's because this nigga knows this is some bullshit. Look at his eyes. He knows this is some bullshit. And he's just playing along. He's just playing along. And I think everybody knows this is some bullshit. And I think that first nigga knows this is some bullshit too. But he on the edge. Let me see where this go. You know, like I did with what's his name? One of these gospel singers had a group. Some of the ghetto fabulous bullshit I ever seen. Don't you better hope I don't remember your name, Patrick Love. He made that song. I told the storm to pass. Storm, you can't last. Anyway, he tried to come back out with a group because he never paid for the masters for that song. So he never made the money from it. But he still had his name, Patrick Love. And he came out with a group, and he had such, it was such a charade. It was a horrible charade, like of unprofessionalism. And that's this man right here. He just going along with it. I just went along with it. I was like, we gonna see where this go. Rehearsal after rehearsal, live show after live show. Never finished the album, never got masters finished, never did any actual real bookings outside of these little churches that were his auntie's churches. This ain't some bullshit. Let me get off this chitlin train and go take my voice somewhere else and my anointing somewhere else. Because this nigga didn't even show up for rehearsal on time. Patrick Love. Shaped like your mama. Anyway.
On our 6th day at sea, the weather cleared. The dive was a go.
6 days.
Sitting at 3742 meters, reports on bottom.
But that was the last.
Now how we know she a real scientist? If the crew does all the work, because there is a time in here where you're gonna see. Remember that silly bitch, the banker, who was crying because they couldn't go down because something. I talked over her earlier today. She's in that room as well, and it looks like she might be a scientist, but we know she's not. Oh my God, this shit is so janky.
Was the last of the good news.
I said, do you know where we are? 100 meters to the bow, then 470 to the bow. If you are lost, so are we.
Y'all, he got lost. He got lost. And while he got lost, let me just remind you that Donald Trump was once a joke too. And then January 6th happened. And people's lives got destroyed from the rooter to the tutor because of that man and his joke. Him running for presidency was a joke. Remember, we all laughed about it? That won't go nowhere. That nigga ain't gonna run for office. Oh, he just playing. He'll get out before it's over. Oh, he gonna go through them whole first 30 days. Oh, he's staying? Oh, he's saying shit he ain't supposed to say. He pushing buttons and shit. Y'all, I was stuck in China because of that nigga. He was a joke too. Everybody thought he was a joke. I thought, if I remember correctly, the KKK was a joke too. You know, we gonna get on our wagons and run them niggas out of town, drink a beer, and before you know it, they a whole organization. Miss Niders told me earlier this week the KKK got in a fight with the Proud Boys down yonder. I wish I would have seen that shit. Listen, it was a joke. It started off as a joke. You know, they didn't take him seriously, but there was enough here, and they had more footage. I can't wait to show you. They had more footage. They just didn't show us here.
Underwater.
And they played with us here.
Is supposed to guide the sub to the shipwreck by sending text messages.
Turn 30 degrees right?
Probably, 30 degrees.
But on this dive, communications somehow broke down. The sub never found the wreck.
We were lost. We were lost for 2.5 hours.
Who are them smiling niggas in that little thing? Am I the only person that saw them little smiling niggas? Let me take my picture down, because y'all got to see this shit. This is not a serious scientific endeavor. You don't never see scientists smile. When the last time, except Neil deGrasse and Stephen Hawking? He didn't have a choice, though. He didn't really have a choice to whether or not he smiled. But I ain't never seen scientists have so much fun. These niggas on vacation. Hold up, let me show you.
Never found the wreck.
Who are these niggas smiling? They're having a great time. These are not scientists. There go Captain Goofy over here, the wild monk. These are tourists. These are not the crew. They're not even equipped. Part of their $250,000 in pounds got them this jumpsuit with a name on it. And when I was in the choir at New Birth, we paid $350 for a choir robe we never wore. These aren't professional people. They're having a ball.
We were lost. We were lost for 2.5 hours.
2.5
Rush says
hours.
he'll offer those passengers a free do-over next year.
If you're lost for 2.5 hours, what keeps you from descending? Oh, that's hilarious. Yes, they was fighting downtown, Jesus. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's who I was talking about earlier in one of my little mini rants, Blue Butterfly. There, somebody got fired because they brought the safety concern because they reported it, and then they got sued by this nigga. He sued the person he fired.
And that's just one cost of doing this business.
Are you making money on this operation?
No.
A lie. Y'all saw that espresso machine, and yeah, it was a $2,700 one. Y'all saw that chair and that TV, and it was a better remote control in that chair than it was in that submersible vessel. $350 for a choir robe. I had to threaten to return my money just to get the robe, girl. They took months to give us those robes we paid for. And I had to be like, I want my money back before the robe spontaneously appeared. And still had to be altered. Girl, church is a scam. If I ever start a church, grab me and tell me don't do it, because I'm doing it for the money and I'm not doing it right. I ain't got no intentions, because I've learned from the best. Eddie Long them told me. They told me. They took me in the room and they said, when you write these evangelistic plans, please remember it's about the bottom line. At the end of the day, Hermione Fisher told me, at the end of the day, this is a business. Don't ever get it twisted. Terrell Murphy told me, I wrote a whole evangelism plan to teach people how to evangelize and take Jesus into the streets. And they said, we got to make sure that we are attracting people who can bring money into this church. So when you write this plan, make sure you map it out appropriately. Oh, yes, that's what I was told, because it's a business. If you hear me say I ain't no Christian, please believe it's not an ignorant notion.
So, not yet. People might say, hey, that's a lot of money, $250,000. But we went through over $1 million of gas.
It was our last day at sea. There was one last chance to reach the Titanic. And this time, good weather and good fortune were aligned.
Slow down, it's just in front of us. Just we are in front of the anchor.
Now watch how the music, and I'm going to talk over this because I keep getting copywritten struck because of this damn song. Fucking stupid shit. Watch how they use this song from the Titanic to support the idea that they're purporting that these people actually saw it. And we know, because we've watched this. We watched this together last Saturday night, and we watched this replay a couple times this week. We know this is all they saw. What you see on the screen is what they saw. We know that. We've already done the digging, and we've already looked, and we know this is all they saw. Me either. I got delivered from Christianity in 2016. It was crazy because when my dad died, I went through this pain and this suffering, and I asked God, how do I heal? And he told me I needed to start honoring my ancestors. And I went and talked to a friend of mine about it, and was like, that's a sin. And my friend was like, how is it a sin? I got a master's degree from a seminary. I know the Bible. So I showed him, I took him to every scripture, and he said, well, outside the Bible, where is it a sin? And if God told you that's where your healing is, why wouldn't you go? And from there, my mind was just open. I am very, very grateful for the pastor who turned into a teacher, who taught me so much about, what's really out there, and expanded my mind. My healing really, really did come from it was really hard to watch that funeral for Jackie, because Christians don't know how to mourn. They don't. So they do stupid shit. They do shenanigans. That's been my word all week. um Anyway, I meant to say that we know that this is all they saw. But watch, and because the focus of tonight is on CBS News and how it was a conspiracy. The Titan tragedy. The conspiracy, if you haven't caught it yet, was between CBS News and Ocean Gate. That's the conspiracy I'm tethering together, no pun intended, because these two organizations came together to put this story out here like these people saw something they didn't see, to make us think we might see something that we'll never see without our head going pop, 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 pop.
Here's the bow, guys.
Yeah.
You guys see it?
Look at that, though, how it just kind of emerges out.
Yeah.
That is otherworldly.
And there it was.
And there it
famous
was.
bow.
There it was. The famous bow. He says, y'all, listen again. I know. But you got to remember, because you got to remember this time. David Pogue. Yeah, David Pogue. Y'all wonder why I talk to my gods like that, because they work for me. Ogun works for me. Yemeya works for me. Olokun works for me. They stay wanting something, don't they? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So I talk to them the way I would talk to my employees. And they keep acting like they don't hear what I'm saying. His name is David Pogue. He said, and there it was. Didn't he say it? Did he not say it? If you heard that man say, and there it was, please put a 1 in this chat. If that man said, and there it was, as though he saw it, I want you to remember this. This moment is so key. It's so important. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to remember it enough to get a, I think it was, trying to get a time stamp on where we are when he says, I think that was at the 9-minute mark. Exactly. Which is funny, because I learned how to make news stories and documentaries and photo documentaries like this. And we break things down into segments very, very specifically. It's not by accident that at the exact 9-minute mark, he said, and there it was. Because that was the time to wrap up. He had about a minute 19 left, and he had to get the story across. This nigga, this lion nigga. So we know, let me just go back because it was so clear and so able to be seen. Y'all know that's all they saw. Let me use my little pink mouse. Excuse me. Y'all see my little pink mouse showing this little shape of Louisiana right here? This little boot. Y'all know that's all they saw. Y'all know that's all they saw. And you can hear their voice on the footage. You can clearly hear the passengers' voices on the footage saying, can you see it? Yeah, I think that's it right there.
Merges out.
Yeah.
Look, see how it kind of merges out? It's otherworldly. And there it was. Now, we pointed out last week, and I'm just was the smart one I still owe dinner to. She pointed out last week how, excuse me, let me appear on the screen so that I don't break fair use. They are actually coming from the opposite side of this bow. So they're approaching the bow, and if I remember correctly, the bow is at the front of the ship. I don't know, aft and forward. I know the dining, all the food is in the aft, and the babysitters are on the aft. and the nightclubs are forward. But I can't remember what the bow. I think it's the front, if I remember correctly. But whichever part of the ship they are approaching, and I apologize for not being educated enough to be able to speak on that more honestly. I don't ever claim to know it all. I just claim to bring the shit and break it down. But we can see together, if you can follow my pink mouse, what they saw and the shape of it, right? So they're approaching this thing from what we may say is the right side of it. If this is the front of the ship, starboard side, no, starboard side, yeah, the side, port side, the side of the ship that will be on the port, it's the front of the ship. This would be on the right. Now, when he says, and there it is, they're on the left. So did they float past it and come around? And he doesn't have none of that footage of them coming up closer to it? This nigga says, now this same footage was on Fox News last week, and Fox gave the credit to Ocean Gate for the footage on their website. Now remember, Stockton Rush said we could put anything we want on that back screen, and I gave a pass to CBS News, and I said maybe that's what he put on the screen, and they said they could easily say that's what he showed us, but we'll find in the next video. This was a conspiracy. They were in collusion. And CBS is as much culpable for this misjustice as Stockton Rush and Ocean Gate. Because this man said,
And there it was.
and there
The
it
famous
was.
bow.
The famous bow. He's describing how they steering, Miss Notters. They just, they just diamond in the back, da da da, did it in the scene with my gangster lean, gangster white walls. They just did it. Now that doggone who's Jaguar Wright's cousin? Erica Badu. Now that Erica Badu song is in my head too. I gotta get it out of my head. But anyway, how in the world is he describing these things as though and it sound like I'm putting 20 on 10 and I'm making something bigger than it is, but you'll see why I'm so passionate about this when you see the next video. Because when he uses words like, and there it was, the famous bow.
The ship's wheel pedestal.
The ship's wheel pedestal. Look, the wheel pedestal. With these things just happen to be lined up straight in front of it. What I say last week, what crustaceans came out from under the sea to put these up here so nicely and neatly, so they'd be there just in time for the Titan to come without popping. Now I gave because I've been trying to be more in my Piscean energy, which I have no water in my chart whatsoever. I'm earth and fire, baby. That's it. That's it. But anyway, I've been trying to be a little bit more watery and say, well, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay? Let me give them the benefit of the doubt. And maybe that's what Stockton Rush put on the screen. And that's why CBS News put that out there as what they saw. Because we know good and motherfucker well they didn't see that shit in that goddamn porthole shaped like a toilet bowl. They didn't see that out of the porthole. So I said maybe he put it on the screen. Right? I know, Rosetta. You seen it in all the footage.
And memorial plaques from old expeditions.
Y'all, thank you for everyone who's here. Please
The
like or
bollards
dislike this
that
video.
once secured the ship in port,
Y'all, as we watch
and the
this bullshit,
davits
please
that lower the lifeboats.
share and subscribe,
The hole
y'all.
where a huge
If you want to
smokestack once
comment,
stood.
please just subscribe. We
And
want to
the
hear what you got to
skylight
say
over the
too.
radio room
You hear
that
this
sent
nigga
out-
describing this shit that he sees, and please believe I'm talking over it because I've already gotten copywritten strucken twice because of the background song they chose to use here. So I'm talking over it on purpose, but he's describing these things in detail as though he saw them from the Titan. I'm going to go back and we'll watch this whole segment again.
Stress signals.
Now, everybody you see here is a slave. First of all, let me say this. Let me say this first of all. If you'll notice, none of these people were on this particular vessel, because this footage here that you're going to see is actually also from Ocean Gate. It wasn't CBS's footage. This is from the Ocean Gate website.
Now, Titanic tourism has its detractors, but
now you notice that little
these expeditions don't disturb the wreck.
all of this is Ocean Gate footage.
And Stockton Rush says that they're valuable to history.
At some point, there will be no Titanic.
Ocean Gate
by
footage.
The bacteria. It'll be an artificial reef that doesn't look like
this is
Titanic.
CBS footage. I'm talking on purpose. I'm talking over this shit on purpose so I don't get copyright struck again. And she finally got to see the Titanic after 30 years of trying, and she saw what you see right now in that porthole. But he told us that she saw crisis actors. Could be. He told us that she saw the bow, the doors, the wheel thingamajigger. Oh yeah, tourism. You caught it. This is business. This isn't science. They didn't vet these people. They had no criteria even for their age.
Wreck in the world.
I'm gonna turn it down so I don't get copyright struck again. She getting all excited and they ain't even see nothing. She didn't see nothing. Not nothing, Rosetta. The bottom of the sea. She didn't see nothing. No, this is the part right here that I'm just pointed out, that let us know that everything we saw was an illusion. Hello, good morning, Amanda, MBS. Good morning. And evening to wherever you are. This was the part that I'm just pointed out to remind us that this was all an illusion. Y'all, let me get to this second part, because what this man, David Pogue, thank you. Okay, I really appreciate you remembering this man's name, because y'all got some work to do tonight while I sleep. On this David Pogue, because he owes a whole lot more than an apology, and he hasn't even apologized. He hasn't apologized, and CBS News has not apologized for their participation in this and how it came to be, because they're as responsible. They're as responsible as Stockton Rush, if you ask me, and my little eyes. Let me show you what he said.
People became all too real this past.
If you could hear and see that, please give me a 3 in the Chizat. Yep, that kaleidoscope analogy was super deep. It gave me the chills, man. Let me give us a little moment to breathe before we get into this second part. Y'all, tighten up your thinking caps. You ain't even got to do that, because the shit is right here out in your face. You ain't got to get that deep with this. Hold on. Where my other blunt at? Y'all, I am waiting to get just a little feedback. If you could tell me if you were able to hear and see this. I paused it. Thank you, Amanda, MBS, and Rosetta. I appreciate you. I'm going to let us watch this, and you know I'm going to do what I got to do.
Fate of undersea explorer Stockton Rush's Titan submersible on its way to the Atlantic grave of the Titanic. The questions, the second guessing, David Pogue tells us, are likely to.
What's his name again, y'all? David Pogue. Can you put his name in the chat? Spell it how you want to. David Pogue. David Pogue is as responsible for this bullshit as Stockton Rush. If you ask me, they frat brothers. And where are those extra PlayStation controllers he said would be on there?
Continue for a long time to come.
Welcome in anyway.
Last summer, a company called Ocean Gate invited Sunday Morning to join an expedition to the Titanic. At the time, I was thrilled.
Next time I come out of this doorway, I'll either be a changed man.
I want you to take note of his posture. Now, we did this a lot with Jaguar. We did this a lot with Sharp when we broke down the I almost called that nigga Boosie. The blue face And what's that baby's name? Krishan Rock interview with Sharp. We talked a lot about body language, and we talk a lot about body language on this show because it's an indicator. And I want us to notice his posture and how upright he is, how he's looking directly into the camera, and just take note.
I was thrilled.
See, as he talks, he's direct, he's confident, he's straight to the camera. His eyes are bright and big and right at the camera. Ain't no confusion about how
Next
he
time I come out of
feels.
this doorway, I'll either be a changed man forever or cursing the bad weather.
As the whole world knows now, OceanGate's business was taking adventure seekers on these Titanic dives
Well, we're sitting on the Titanic. We
Yeah.
are on the Titanic.
Excuse
for
me.
$250,000 a ticket.
Now you see, this footage is still used, right? This same footage is still used. Now watch what this man says.
On a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber submersible called the Titan.
Carbon fiber is a great material. It's better than titanium. It's better than a lot of other materials.
This is Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate and the designer of the sub. Last Sunday, as he was piloting the sub to the Titanic, it imploded, killing him
Excuse
and
me.
his 4 passengers.
Shout outs to his arrogance for stopping the bleeding. Some things just have to happen quickly. You have no idea how many times this submersible went under and it wasn't supposed to. Like, this death could have happened 3 or 4 expeditions ago, 3 or 4 excursions, 3 or 4 trips, 3 or 4 contracts, 3 or 4 clients, 3 or 4 customers ago. This very same thing could have very well happened because, as someone else noted, this thing wasn't made to stand this long for this many times.
We spent 9.
Now, look how this man is looking at the camera. His chin is not up. His shoulders aren't back. He's looking down and at the camera because he ought to be ashamed. He too arrogant to say, y'all, I shouldn't be coming before you saying nothing but I'm sorry. I need to lay down my journalist badge for a minute and go back and read a couple of them 101 books on integrity, so that I can make sure that I do this job with integrity in a way that doesn't lead people down this path again. I'm sorry. That's me. No. He about to talk his way around it. He might as well be a politician.
Days at sea with Rush last summer, and in wake of the tragic news, we thought you might like to see more of what we saw and hear more of what.
In wake of the tragic news, we thought you might want to see the actual real footage. I got a problem with the way this is presented. There's no responsibility. There's no accountability. There's no apology. It's not even a real retraction. It's just, we're going to produce another story and tell you even more. No, you're going to show us what we should have seen in the very fucking first place.
Stockton Rush said. The Titan wasn't like any previous deep-sea submersible. There was no dashboard, just a touchscreen computer and a single power button.
We only have one button. That's it.
Wait a minute, I've seen submersibles, and they are banks of controls. Like
Did he include any of this fucking footage in his first story, comparing this piece of shit to a real submersible that he's seen? His empirical knowledge was never imparted into the story he released as a journalist. Did we ever see any of this stock footage of a real submersible in the original story? Did we hear him say it didn't have a dashboard? Did we hear him say, I've seen submersibles. This is a piece of shit. He didn't include that. That was crucial knowledge. That was critical information.
Exactly. This is to other.
Cockpit after cockpit. This don't look nothing like what I seen before. You mean to tell me you gonna bring people out in this shit right here and charge them? I mean, he said it. Now you see his body language. This man got his shoulders all up. He's scared to say what need to be said. But at least he's saying a little bit, but he didn't include that in his original story.
Submersibles what the iPhone was to the BlackBerry.
But many of its components seemed surprisingly cheap. For views,
Did he ever say that in his first story? No. He said off the shelf, jerry rigged. This nigga said cheap. Straight up cheap. That is a plain word that we don't have to wonder what it means. Everybody know what cheap means. And he didn't use that information. Y'all, I really appreciate you for taking us down this rabbit hole. Because when y'all said y'all wanted to talk about this, I was like, okay, it's going to be one quick show. Let's go. But when I say we got to get in the habit of thinking like this in such a way that this shit doesn't pass us, because this man should have included that information. And whatever has to happen to bring justice to the situation for those who should be justified, let it be.
outside the sub, he had installed store-bought security cameras. As for the ceiling lights,
I got these from Camper World.
and then there was the steering unit.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
So it seems like a lot of the way you made this is by taking off-the-shelf parts and sort of MacGyvering them together.
Was that in the first story? It seems like the way you made this was by taking off-the-shelf parts and MacGyvering them together. He is slashing this nigga. He is slaying him to death. He is breaking him all the way down. And why don't we get to see it? Why don't we get to see the true interaction? I mean, if you're going to tell the story, tell the motherfucking story. They had a conversation that we should have been made aware of 6 months ago when we had a decision on how to spend our children's birthday week. We could go to Canada and do this submersible. You know, he gave us a little $100,000 discount. All of us can go for like $1.5 million. You know, we could scrape that up together amongst 5 of us, 4 of us. Or we can go to Disneyland. Which one we gonna do? You know? 6 months ago when we were planning our vacations, our summer vacations, he should have told us that these things, he, in his opinion, were cheap. See, the reason why he didn't was because this nigga done sued before, right? Remember what happened to Oprah when she said don't eat beef? They stressed her out so bad her hair went natural. That was a bad hair year for Oprah. The year that them farmers, them cow farmers or whatever they are, came at Oprah for saying don't eat beef, and that's how she lost weight. But you're not gonna invite me to do a story, and I don't do the motherfucking story. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I used to sell advertising for a radio station in Cincinnati. And I just had this personal standard. There were some businesses I just wouldn't do business with. I wouldn't sell advertising to rent-to-own furniture places because they gouge black people. You paying for furniture for 2 years that you should have paid for already. I wouldn't sell advertising to check cashing companies, liquor stores, those cash advance companies. There was one that came to me who did cash advances for business, and when I sat down with him, he was surprised I had questions for him. Well, you want to use my platform, and while you are paying me, I have a responsibility to my audience. I know my demographic. My demographic spends more money in this country than any other demographic in the world, but we happen to be the poorest and the most impressionable. So I'm not about to take this back. And shout outs to my the president of our radio station, who also happened to be my friend Tracy. Tracy, what's your last name, baby? Okay, maybe I'm not supposed to say it. But she was an amazing judge in Cincinnati, going through some hellish shit with that political establishment. But she never told me that wasn't okay. She would bring me leads, and I would be like, they're not good for our community. I can't advertise that. I can't. I would never. I would never, you know. And so, like, I just think that I've always felt like there's a certain amount of integrity that we have to have when we have a platform. I think that's something my parents instilled in me when I was young, when they told me that even if you are offered a role, that don't mean you got to take off your shirt on camera. I mean, if you got the chops, you got the chops. You ain't got to be naked just to get a role. That was something that was very important that they let me know since we live so close to Hollywood. But here, this journalist slash influencer uses his platform incorrectly, and so does CBS, because this footage passed so many tables before it got to us. Somebody could have made this a real piece. Somebody could have had the balls to make this a real piece and maybe not put it on this show, unless there was a business arrangement that confined the parameters, the angle, as we call it. It's quite possible. It's quite possible that there's an arrangement. Thank you, Rosetta. I appreciate that encouragement. I mean, it costs me a lot of money sometimes to not bring in a client, but hey, this is my responsibility. I got access to millions of people through this doggone radio station. And what I advertise on this radio station, I got to sleep at night thinking about how I pay my bills. I just do. I got way too good a pussy to be selling it. You got to give me your whole life. Give me some more than money. Yes, Tracy Hunter. That's my girl. That's my homegirl. She was my boss at the radio station. She was a mentor to me in a lot of ways. And I've been praying for her as she's going through what she's going through. The modern day lynching that she's got the strength to endure and overcome in so many ways. Yeah, I love her. I love her. I love her. And I love her. I do. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are seeing now why I had the passion that I had when we watched that first video, because there's a responsibility here. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You got to understand the demographic of the Sunday morning show. They're older people. They watching shit in the background. They getting ready for church. Literally. They just watching this. It's a feel-good show. CBS Sunday Morning is a feel-good show. They've got a demographic of older white people who just want to feel good on a Sunday morning before they go fishing or go to church or go see their mama or whatever. It's just a feel good show. So they got to keep it that way. And that's why I'm not monetized, because we still be talking about Jaguar Right if I had to depend on y'all to pay my bills. I really just trust that my vibe attracts my tribe. And y'all don't have to be my tribe in any followership hierarchy like Nature Boy. I just trust that my soul tribe will be found by the vibe that I find myself in. And I got far away from that shit to find out who the real niggas are. And y'all the real niggas. And I love it. I love it. So anyway, I wanted to just point that out. Let me continue. Yeah, this sativa got me rambling.
Does that not raise anybody's eyebrows in the industry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely an outlier. There were a lot of rules out there that didn't make engineering sense to me.
Everyone I know.
Did he put any of that? He said, does this not raise a lot of eyebrows? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of niggas that say I'm crazy and I'm going to kill somebody. But that shit don't make no sense to me. Why didn't he include that in his story? Can somebody tell me, maybe in the chat, because I try not to be a misunderstanding type of bitch. But right now, I'm a judgmental, misunderstanding, domineering, dominatrix, dogmatic type of hoe. It doesn't make any sense to me. And you got to help me make it make sense. Why wouldn't they include this? I want to show y'all what you didn't see. I want to show y'all that we told him. We told him. But y'all didn't tell us. We pay your bills. Oh, no. He paid your bill. I got you. Because that was paid for. I'm sorry. I'm catching up on these comments. Well, hello there, John Fernine. Good evening. How are you? Oh, the gang is all here. The brains are in the building. Yeah, the brains are in the
Keeps
building.
asking me the same question. Why would you get on that dangerous sub?
Dumbass.
Well, first of all, Stockton Rush had the credentials.
This part. James, for now, you came at the wrong time. Girl, I ain't saying that about white people all night. Now I gotta do it. Because he's right here. And it's at that point. So, earmuffs to the white people who don't like to hear white people talked about. Shout outs to y'all who love to hear us drag white people. Because some of y'all love to hear it. Y'all love to hear it. But anyway, this ain't no drag. This just the truth. Listen. We watched the video last week where this very same man said he had the credentials. He was an aeronautics student. He was a blue blood. Two of his ancestors, or he's a descendant. Umar Johnson's got to make that make sense to us. The difference between an ancestor, descendant. I don't know. I don't be claiming people I'm not related to. Shit. My family is good. We all look alike and we all got the same little personality. You know my people if you meet them because we like to fight and we could drink you under the table. Listen. Anyway, two of his family members were signers of the Declaration of Independence, which means they were white men with a superioristic mindset who most likely owned black people and at least property, which was black people. So he comes from slave owners. He's a real white guy. Now that's what this man said last week. Let's see what he say right here.
He majored in aerospace engineering.
Aerospace. He majored in aerospace engineering. Raise your hand because we gonna do this. We gonna do this. Raise your hand if you got a job that ain't got nothing to do with what you went to school to do. If you just fell into a career. If you just chase the money and let the money follow you. If you figured out along the way what you were good at and it didn't have really nothing to do with what you went to school to do. Or if you just found out, okay, if I do this, I'll make money. I don't really like it. I'm not really good at it, but I found out that I'm able to make money from it. Or I can make enough money from it that I ain't probably got to work no more after that. Listen, raise your hand if you just floated into an opportunity, or as somebody I used to know said, if you just hit a lick. I don't give a fuck about this nigga's picture. What does that have to do with him? Anything. Fuck him. So we're showing him as a young, handsome, powerful, tall, dark, handsome white man. Well, that ain't what he looked like now. His hair is gray. Or whatever. Why are we showing? They always show black people with their mugshots. That's why if you ever see any of mine, I'm smiling. That's what my daddy told me. He said, baby, never let them see you sweat. If they ever catch you enough that they take a picture of you, make sure you're smiling. And she is. But why are we looking back at this 30, 40-year-old picture of this man? And this is what we're supposed to connect to about him. CBS is still covering up. I am Team Hitalick too. Listen, I let the licks hit me because I like it. Ooh, that's nasty. Anyway, why are we looking at this picture and connecting with this memory of this man as if that's who he is? He was an aerospace engineer. Major. That's the sky. Way up in the airplanes, helicopters. What else is aerospace? It ain't the ocean. Come on. Man, do you go to your doctor who studied to be an attorney? Do you go to your attorney who studied to be a nutritionist, or your nutritionist who studied to be a mechanic? Or a mechanic who studied to be a hairdresser? Now, you will find that a hairdresser can do absolutely anything else. They do hair because they want to. They are usually the most talented, multi-talented people on the planet. Shout outs to Bevan. Listen. But do you trust someone to do something in their old age that they didn't study at any point? Where are his credentials to take people down to the depths of the ocean, 4,000 leagues under the sea, in a homemade vessel without any physical connection to an actual certified vessel? Where are the credentials? Are we really just now really going to tell us black people that because this man is white, that makes it all right? I heard this man say, when this white man was telling people how to make some fried chicken or something in a pressure cooker. He said, he was telling them to season it. He said, if your chicken is white, it ain't all right. And this was a white man talking. I loved it. Anyway, here we go.
At Princeton, he designed and
He went to Princeton, just like everybody else with rich parents.
flew his own airplanes.
He designed and flew his own what? I need y'all in the chat because I ain't got no co-host tonight. He designed and flew his own submarines or airplanes. Where they at though? Where the bodies at though? Man, paper airplanes.
He designed previous submersibles.
He designed previous submersibles. Y'all, what do y'all see in front of you on this screen? See, one thing we learned in school, the photos should match with, I mean, you're telling a story through the visuals. Like, you make it easy for the people who are watching the story to hear what you're saying with the visuals. They match up, they illustrate, they augment the story. Thank you, Jackie O, for bringing that word back to me. I appreciate that. Shout outs to you. This man, what is he doing? Emptying a trash can? Catching fish? The fuck is going on? And why is he barefoot? Is that professional attire?
Second, he was emphatic that the important part.
He was emphatic. That was one reason why he trusted him, because he was emphatic. A rowboat. Oh, a life-size Lego boat. That's what I see too. He designed and flew airplanes. What that got to do with a doggone submersible vessel?
The Titan were rock solid, like the carbon fiber body.
He was emphatic that it was rock solid. Even though people told him, real scientists educated him and told him, dude, this is shoddy as shit.
For which NASA served as a consultant.
There's certain things that you want to be buttoned down, and that's the
Y'all, this is the carbon fiber being applied to the hull, is what we're supposed to be being led to believe. But I don't know why this would be happening right now. If they're inside, this has to be stock footage.
Once the pressure vessel is, you're certain it's not going to collapse on everybody, everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
Third, I was convinced by an expert, P.H. Nargeolet, the veteran.
You mean the late P.H. Nargeolet? You mean the former P.H. You mean the dead? You mean, okay, so you mean the P.H. Nargeolet who was on the little toothpaste tube, toilet paper tube, paper towel tube, wrapped in carbon fiber, a knitted Twinkie, as it was said. So you talk to a dead man about it? This man was walking dead. He reached out. Excuse me. This man right here reached out to Stockton and said something don't seem right about this vessel, and Stockton assured him it would be okay. He had no empirical knowledge, no data, no, everything pointed to don't do it. He was walking dead. He was a walking dead dummy. This man wasn't a professional nothing. He was an explorer. He was Indiana Jones. That was his job. His job was French explorer. The fuck is that? That's like being a philosopher. That ain't no job. What was his vocation? What was his training? What were his credentials? That man, he's gone on 37 dives down to the Titanic. He already been there. But he convinced you that it would be okay to go on a knitted Twinkie. Shout outs to I'm Just and whoever else, the collaboration of minds that came up with that one, and St. Hudson. Listen, this man who's already been to the Titanic 37 times or so and survived, convinced that man to go down there in a knitted Twinkie. Sound like somebody got paid. I mean, that's all I could think of. Listen, it's gotta be some money. It's gotta be. It's gotta be some money. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. It ain't no way this ain't involving no dollars and some cents. Okay? Because it don't make no sense. What is a professional explorer? Now I'm falling and I can't get up. That's hilarious. I said that a couple days ago. Listen. Life is but I'll let you finish that. Listen. Professional thief is what he was. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? This man didn't have a job, Tommy. He made money like Christopher Columbus, sailing the ocean blue, looking for salt and pepper and shit. Who knows what the fuck he did? He probably spent a lot of time in Bangkok doing shit he had no business doing. What in the fuck does he do? And you could tell he got that money now, or had it. Well, shout outs to his heirs, but I hate to tell y'all can't sue nobody because he signed a contract. If he signed it, saying could nobody sue, even if there was negligence involved. So he convinced you to go, even though he ain't got no job, and he's not an expert. He's like a jack of all trades. He's an Indiana Jones of sorts, a Dora the Explorer. And that's why do you realize you could have died, David Pogue? And you could have taken a lot of lives with you. And your hands are dirty, sir. There is blood on your hands, and there is blood on the producers of this story and the editors and all of y'all. Et al, as they say.
Deep sea explorer who also perished in the Titan.
He sure did.
Over the years, he'd been to the Titanic more than just about anyone. How many times have you been?
With the last dive, 37 times.
You've been to the Titanic 37 times?
Yes. I was in charge of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs.
How different is the Titan from those other subs?
Completely different. Most of them, you have a sphere.
Was there never a point when you wondered about the safety of the sub at that depth?
No. 2 or 3 years ago, I have a phone call with Stockton, and he explained to me that he was doing a lot of tests. He showed me the ways they were building the stuff. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. No problem to dive in the sub.
I was also
now that conversation was 2 or 3 years ago. Somebody tell me, just in case we don't get to watch it, how many times was this sub rated to be able to go? I think it may have only been good for one, because there are actual professionally built industrial standard military grade submarines that only go down there once, and then they get museumized. They become part of somebody's collection. They become cultivated, and they have no more use because they're no longer safe. And that's one. These titanium ones. One. This conversation that Jean-Claude Van Damme or Jacques Cousteau had. Ooh, he died from his explorations. Remember, Jacques Cousteau went to the St. Easter Island. Hey, come on, somebody. North Sentinel Island. Hey. And them Africans came off the island and they was like, come on, Jacques. Welcome home, baby. And they ain't never seen him again. Oh, yes, they did. He survived that. They shot at him. I got the story wrong. That was that white dude that went not too long ago who disappeared, trying to spread Christianity hither and to. Jacques Cousteau, they shot arrows at his boat while it was on the water. And he realized he was in dangerous territory and got the fuck on. He was also another French explorer who didn't know how to stay in his motherfucking place. Fucking idiot.
7 redundant systems for returning to the surface.
These are roll weights. We can actually roll this up and those come off. That gains us some buoyancy to come back to the surface. Okay. These triple weights, we call them, are hydraulically driven.
Expedition manager Kyle Bain.
Y'all saw them rusty
Underneath
ass
this tray
weights.
hang these bags. We're around 35 pounds. And those hang down there. Typical dive will have 8 of them. We can also use our thrusters. We have enough power to thrust back up. And then under this last fairing here, we have our variable ballast tank or soft ballast. It's an air bladder.
Look at that
We
shit.
use a big 10,000 PSI air tank that's under
It's
the tail.
raggedy as
Let's fill that
fuck.
up, fill it with air, and then it helps bring us to the surface.
There were even sandbags that detach automatically after about 16 hours, even if everyone inside had passed out. Their connectors would dissolve in seawater.
So you have a backup.
Even
of a
if
backup
everyone
of a backup
inside
of
had
a backup
passed
of a
out.
backup. Correct.
All stations are reporting the dive.
Now listen very closely, please.
Finally, the crew seemed to foster a culture of safety. There were checklists, inspections before and after every dive, and a 3 strikes rule. If 3 things seemed out of the ordinary, no matter how minor, they'd cancel the dive. I learned that the hard way on our own dive.
We're in the water. We're floating. Woo!
At this point, divers are supposed to detach the sub from its launch platform.
So apparently those floats there came off the platform and that wasn't supposed to happen.
So we're scrubbing?
Yeah, I think that's the consensus up here.
Copy that.
I never did see the Titanic.
What'd he say? Did he say there it was? The bow, the door, the little things lined up by the lobsters. Look at his fucking face. Stupid ass. David Pogue. Yeah. A conspiracy, according to the Googles, is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Please tell me, was there a conspiracy here to conceal information from the public about Ocean Gate and the Titan and Stockton Rush? Was there a conspiracy to conceal information from the public? And was that harmful? And maybe even a little unlawful? I mean, people don't like to say conspiracy no more. They be scared because they don't know what the word fucking means. Take your time. Take your time. Don't let nobody bully you. You smart. Just take your time. Take your time. Just slow down. Just slow down. This is a conspiracy. These 2 organizations came together and concealed necessary information from the public that led to harm. This nigga said, there it was. The dining room table. There it was, Rose's dress.
I never did see the Titanic.
There it was. Everything you'd ever thought you could see. There it was, is what he said. And look at his face. No, I'm like that lady on that plane. I want him to feel as awkward as I have to feel right now. So, yeah, David Pogue, you said there it was. I'm angry, controllably, but yet angry. There was a 19-year-old boy on that submarine who felt some type of way about it and only went to please his dumbass daddy. Your footage was incomplete. Your report was incomplete and deceptive. You omitted so much truth. So much truth was omitted about this entire operation. You didn't even call it a business. This time you did. In this one you did. But in the first one you didn't. David Pogue, I hope you never sleep. I hope you don't get a night's rest until you make this right.
And I wasn't unusual. In OceanGate's first 2 summers of Titanic operations, it spent a total of 50 days floating above the shipwreck.
I want to see David Pogue on the playground at 3 o'clock. I used to fight little white boys like him in the school all the time because they used to fuck with me because I was smart and I got good grades. I had to fight little white boys like him in school all the motherfucking time. I done had to punch him in the nuts plenty. My daddy taught me how to do it because they were so fucking smart. They thought because they, come on, y'all know, if you a black nerd, you know our biggest enemies were not our own people. Okay, we gonna shut that lie down. I ain't never had to struggle with my own people like I had to struggle with these white boys right here who thought that they were allowed to do more and be more just because of the whiteness of their skin and the shortness of their penis. This lying motherfucker right here. David, I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you, and I hope Pulitzer is watching. He never saw the Titanic. And he did not include the information that was necessary.
50 days floating above the shipwreck site. But because of waves, bad weather, and malfunctions, the Titan actually made it to the Titanic only 12 times.
12 times. That's the first time I've heard that answer to that question. Y'all, there are submersible vessels and submarines that only go down there once. Y'all saw how that outside was buckling? Because of all the times they took it off, put more knit on there, and put it back on. The thrusters were installed backwards once. Y'all, I really appreciate y'all hanging in here for me. Y'all have been, y'all don't know how much some of us need this environment to be able to have these conversations. There's not always a space for us to talk the way we want to talk about this shit. But I think the whole world is in the same unity when it comes to the bullshit. But I want to bring in and introduce to the table this bullshit too.
But through it all, Stockton Rush defended his unconventional approach.
I mean, anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts. Same thing when Elon Musk was doing SpaceX. Inside the box, everything's scary.
But as early as 2018, there was concern about the Titan's design.
How come none of
A
this
former
was included
employee
in the
says that when
story?
he raised safety concerns,
Come
Rush
on,
fired
man.
him. That same year, a group of submersible engineers urged Rush to seek certification.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Have you ever heard a nigga keep up messing and come try to tell you the truth about some shit? How you gonna not tell people that this man fired someone and sued them for reporting how shoddy this shit was? This duct tape piece of shit. How was that not in your original story?
Titan by a safety agency. Rush declined, saying that regulation would stifle innovation.
At some point, safety just is pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed.
Why
Don't get in your
wasn't
car.
this in
Don't
the
do anything.
original? Oh, y'all, I'm
At
heated.
some point, you're going to take some risk, and it really is a risk-reward question. I said, I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules.
So, Captain McLaren, have you?
That man ain't gonna look at the camera yet. He gonna look through his forehead because he know he wrong. He ain't apologized yet though. He got on that same outfit influencers wear when they fucked up and they gotta come apologize.
Spent much time in submarines?
David, my total time under the water, divorced from the outside atmosphere, is a little over 5 3/4 years. No kidding. Fact.
Retired U.S. Navy submarine captain Alfred McLaren is not impressed by OceanGate's innovations.
I mean, would you?
How come there wasn't an expert included in the original story? There was no other voice included. Not even Najee. Nobody even reached out to Najee and said, "Oh, we see that you're scheduled to be on this in the next few years. We see that you've been in communication with Stockton Rush for the last 3 years. Can you come give us your opinion on it?" They didn't include any other voice in the original story. Why not this man? The industry has been talking about this man for years. They've been writing him emails back to 2018. And we're just now finding out because somebody went pop, pop, pop in the sea that they've known about this. Why hasn't this been made public? Why wasn't the Canadian government made aware of this so that their waters could be kept safe? Why wasn't the Bahamian government made aware of this? They were made aware of Jeffrey Epstein in that situation and they got his ass out. This man was allowed to ride a murder weapon 12 times. At least it went down, all the way down 12 times. It wasn't supposed to. This was one of those things that would have happened at some point, and Stockton Rush knew it. And based on the research of David Pogue, he knew it too.
Flying an airplane that somebody excitedly tells you, well, it's going to be a lot cheaper because we found a new way of attaching the wings. Yeah, right.
He theorizes that the Titan failed not because it was made of carbon fiber, but because it was made of 3 dissimilar materials: carbon fiber, titanium, and plexiglass for the porthole.
When you have different materials, different molecular structure, they have different coefficients of expansion and compression, and then you make repeated cycles in depth.
Good night,
of course, you're going to
Rosetta.
work that seal loose. And that's why submarines don't run around with any portholes at all, come to think of it. It's a weak point.
I think there's a great almost...
How come this information wasn't included? I mean, we've all kind of looked at this thing and said, the window popped. We're not experts. If there's an expert in the room, please raise your hand in this subject matter, because we're all just speculating. Everything we're saying is speculation that I know of. But where was this guy in the original story? How is this fair and balanced, and how is this considered journalism? This was an advertisement, as St. Hudson and just said last week. This was an advertisement. And now they got to come and clean it up, hoping that we don't notice that they owe us money.
surreal irony here, which is Titanic sank because the captain took it full steam into an ice field at night on a moonless night with very poor visibility, after he had been repeatedly warned by telegram, by Marconigram.
In an interview with Anderson Cooper, filmmaker and veteran Titanic diver James Cameron pointed out a sad parallel between Stockton Rush and the captain of the Titanic.
The arrogance and the hubris that sent that ship to its doom is exactly the same thing.
I call it European identity extremism.
That sent those people in that sub to their fate.
The world mourns the loss of Stockton Rush, P.H. Nargeolet,
Who?
and their 3 passengers.
Who? The world, they tell us what to think. The world mourns. Mm-mm. I think we are all united that this was some bullshit. That man was crazy and stupid. Those people had opportunities to read a contract and said they had time to read it and signed their lives away and that of their heirs, even the unborn. I don't know if the world is mourning. Are y'all mourning? I mean, it might be morning time somewhere right now. Mm, anybody crying
British
over this?
billionaire Hamish Harding, Pakistani businessman.
No, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that plastic surgeon. He is from Korea, but he lives in America. I think his name is Dr. Yoon, and he usually shows like breaks down like celebrities' faces or whatever, and shows you where they got plastic surgery. He he had to put his puppy down today. I'm so sad. And I commented on his post earlier today that I'm mourning with you. I always feel sad for people when they have to put their animals down. That is a hard thing to have to do. I know what mourning feel like. I'm not doing it for these choicitarians, these maniacs. That's for sure. What they call them, titaniacs. Good motherfucking dummies. I'm not mourning.
Shahzada Dawood, and his son Suleiman.
Poor guy.
Already, there's talk
That's
of
the only one I'm
restrictions
mourning
and
for is that
regulations
baby.
and lawsuits. Will the OceanGate disaster mean fewer people going adventuring? Well, every year people do die skydiving and scuba diving and climbing Mount Everest. Tragic every time, and yet people still keep coming. Some people just have that itch. For them, danger is the point. The risk of dying.
Isn't this the same footage he used to say they saw it? I'm not gonna let that go. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna let that
For
go.
them, danger.
That was the same exact footage he used to say they saw it. He still ain't said that they got that footage from the OceanGate website. But Fox News had the integrity of all news stations to source OceanGate for the footage. He never explains how he used this footage in his story. I would have had to explain that. Ma'am.
Danger is the point. The risk of dying gives meaning to living. I think Stockton Rush was among them.
Was he Michael Jackson? Nipsey Hussle? Aretha Franklin? Martin Luther King? No. He was a businessman. He was a businessman who risked lives. How much money did he make from this one? There were 4 people on it. What's that, $1 million? On this one. £1 million rather, because I haven't heard it in dollars. I've only heard it in British sterling, whatever that's called. That's crazy to me.
Wanted to be sort of the Captain Kirk. I didn't want to be the passenger in the back. And I realized that the ocean is the universe. That's where life is.
So if the ocean is the universe and that's where life is, why not pay homage to it properly before you violate it with your submersible? Why not pay homage to her over there? Why not give your offerings to the gods and goddesses of the ocean and the souls of that still live at the Titanic and are trapped there? The people who died because of that tragedy, why not handle that with more respect rather than just diving down in there? Telling you, them oceans don't play. And we still gave him the last word.
Catastrophic implosion.
Is that not crazy? How they painted this man and still allowed him to have the last word as though he deserved it. That's nuts to me. That's nuts to me. That is absolutely crazy. Y'all, let me give